Hi, my name is Markus Bethel. My business name is Alexis and it's a wardrobe consulting firm. When I was younger, my mother, she would always ask me, like, oh, does this look right? What's the name? Does this fit? How did the shoes look? So I felt like it was always a part of my life. My grandmother on my mother's side, who I never met, she actually died before I was, I think, one. She was a seamstress. So she came from the islands and she used to sew her own clothes. And about 7 years ago, one of my bosses gave me my first sewing machine, and I had started sewing, just like, doing small things like doing alterations on shirts or, pants and stuff like that. And then, the business idea started to develop, and that's kind of where I started. So about 7 years now. I would have to say my sophomore year of college, when I actually seen my first fashion show at Southern. I was just very interested in the idea of clothing and it actually being a business and not just it being about, brands that, we saw as teenagers. And then it was like, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? I can either make my own patterns or, just buy a pattern from Joanne and just start from there and then, develop the idea into something totally different that's, kind of my own. So after seeing that fashion show, I kind of was like, what, maybe I can do this. This is something I can do. I have the creative aspect to it. And then Alexis Vaughn, the name came, way after. But the actual business was about 5 years ago when I actually really started to get into it and actually put the time and effort into developing, my business and my brand and who I wanted people to see me as. So as a consultant, a client will come to me like, hey, I want to get dressed for an event, and they'd be like, well, what do you suggest? And what I would do is, you kind of do like a background check on who they are, what their style is, what their personal style is, what they like, what they don't like. And then you go based off of that, and then you go out into stores and then you shop. Or if they're a type of person that likes custom pieces, you make something for them, or you could go to a designer that's in the area, like, hey, I have a client, and they want something custom, and you kind of, build a relationship with the designer, and then you create, an outfit for your client. Being a creative, I feel like, for myself, and I can't speak for everybody else, but for myself, I kind of forgot about the business aspect because I was into creating. I wanted to make these beautiful clothes and, not think about, the cost of actually making the clothes or, the time actually spent, doing this, as well as, working, a job and stuff like that. So I feel like with the business aspect, I really had to sit down and really like start to configure numbers and really, kind of think about what I wanted to do and how was it going to be profitable to me. And I think that's a huge obstacle. And even so, with clients, they tell you they want to look one way, and then when you present something to them, they don't like it. So you kind of have to, re-edit and, not put so much of yourself into what you want people to look like, but what the person wants to look like. So I think that's a very difficult thing when, owning a business, especially being a creative. When I say that, my father always told me the two people in life that you never replace are your barber and your lawyer, because they know who you are. When you're in a barber's chair, you sit down with your barber and you talk about everything. You talk about sports, you talk about personal stuff, and it's almost like a counseling session. So with me, when I sit with my client, I want them to come to me and, basically decompress. Let's have a conversation. Let's just not talk about the clothes, but, how's your day? You know what I'm saying? Because you never know what somebody's going through. And the way, well, for me, I would say I want people to feel good in what they wear. I don't want them just to wear the clothes, but I want them to be what they're wearing. You know what I'm saying? So when you can make someone feel better about something that they're in, when you can change someone's attitude, when someone looks at themselves and sees a better version of themselves, I feel like as a business owner, I've done my job. I would say a lot of my clients, like, they love me. They enjoy, they see that I enjoy what I do. And when they see that, they get excited. And I think it's rewarding because it's, like I said, it's not about the dollar value. Because if myself as a business owner was doing it just for the money, I feel like I wouldn't be profitable. I feel like when you do it for the service of the people, you are getting much more out of it because people are more respectful of your brand and they're more responsive to who you are as a person. And when you have overall personality and when you have good customer service, people return and they also, go to the next person like, hey, I went to Marcus and, he treated me well, so I think you should go for your next event or for your next photo shoot or for your next video shoot. And, from the clients that I have dealt with, they've been, they've returned and they've also been responsive as far as, giving me compliments about how I go about with my business. To designers, I say go against the grain. Don't ever let someone tell you what you're doing is not authentic. And go out there and take inspiration from everything. I can see the way that, leaves are falling, the color of leaves, the way they fall off trees, and I can look at a piece of fabric and be like, oh, I want it to look like the way that, I want it to flow the way that leaves fall off of a tree. I want the colors to emulate, the changing of a season. And just, for me, I say never look at like magazines or anything like that because I feel like as a designer sometimes stunts you from your creativity because you're looking at, what's new, what's hot. And with fashion, people want to know what's next. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to see what's in season, but they want to see what's in what's in the next season, I should say. So when you can present something that is better than what's current, people are going to respond to it, whether it's positive or negative. And as a business owner, I would have to say, I guess the best word of advice is be patient with your process. I feel like we all rush and, we're like, we're going to be these multi-million-dollar people, but you have to kind of break that image down into smaller tasks. And each day when you're doing something, just check it off your checklist and, get to that bigger goal. Don't try to look at the grand picture and then, when you come to a situation where, you're stuck, you just kind of drop what you're doing and just like, oh, well, it didn't work. Break everything down to simple terms and then, work towards the bigger goal. Honestly, I don't know because I have all of these ideas and I need to learn how to, take them down to the simplest terms and execute them. So in the near future, I would like to put on my first show and, kind of get businesses around New Haven involved because I feel like the culture is already here and I feel like we just need to stop, how should I say this, stop forming these smaller cliques and just, just band together and just put on something that is for, where we're from. I don't feel like, everybody feels like they have to be the one to put their city on versus why don't we all just do it together, put on whatever creative collaboration and just do it as a unit. You know what I'm saying? You can get in contact with me at my email. It's thealexisvon@gmail.com. Or you could get in contact with me via Facebook, Markus Bethel, Markus, Bethel, Bethel. Or you can use my Instagram page. Right now I am working on creating a Instagram for my business, but you can hit me up at Shattered Vanity, ShatteredVanity.